Okay. Who has any comments? Does anybody out there have any? Okay. Do you? Come on. You must surely have something to say about that.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking how current Dwayne's books are, talking about right now, like the President of the United States that is right now, and about how those in control with power and money and influence other people, how what they're focusing their attention on that seems to be being expressed is not what looks like a pure heart that is like the universal position where a person is coming from or aware of, recognizing what it is that allows a person to be in that position. It's like the purity and the sincerity and the humility and the gratitude. And all these experiences that Dwayne's writing about all the way back to the experiences of the real self as a bird, and these things we call love here in the physical, of sex and family, and I guess we have loved so many different things in this worldly place, like the cell phones that it seems like all the people are in love with. Their masses are walking around with a cell phone attached to them all over the place all the time, whether it's driving their cars or walking down the street or in their houses, or the kids are all it's where the focus is, the intent. What is it that everybody thinks that is so important on this technology stuff, that all of the attention is practically placed on it, whether it's in the form of games or just information, worldly information, and what is the real outcome of it? Is man looking for how he can help fellow man get out of these psych realms? It seems like very few are even aware of the real guides at all. The vast majority have no idea that there are real guides, that their consciousness or their awareness at this time is all focused on other things. It's just, I guess it's all part of the process, but it is amazing that the new books are so current and giving the education, the hints, the references about that there's a lot more to life than this worldly stuff, and that we don't have to be controlled by all these authoritarians and governments and reptilians and Anyway, I'm very thankful for the new books.
I think a lot of it, people are just driven near to find love. And at lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, they're always seeking, even though it's power and money and all that, they get distracted. And I think at the very bottom line is fear. When you've got everything, and you know that there's nothing more to get, you're scared. I think the fear comes in, and they want more control. And then it becomes out of control, really, and look to control others more so and more so and more so. But the bottom line, I think, even when you know that there's something wonderful, to take that step is really a big thing. And I think a lot of people get scared. I really do. But if you could just, I was reading, rereading The Real Far Country by Rizar, Paul Twitchell, and young Dwayne. They certainly use their imagination to overcome this fear. That seems to be the key to this. Imagine, and many other paths on all this tell about using your imagination to overcome things and to make your life the way you want it. But Dwayne really seems to feel that that's the key. If we can just overcome things with our mind, our imagination, imagine that you're in a wonderful place, and just keep that as kind of the thing that you want. Your desires are already here. We just have to believe it, that we are really that perfect person. That's the way it's set up. You are perfect to begin with. You're something really wonderful, and you just have to realize that. But facing that reality is sometimes a real fear, because then you have to give up your lifestyle, maybe your love, your children. They don't realize that you don't have to do all that to give up anything. What really happens is even more beautiful. And you can include all those things that you're wanting and desiring. It becomes more real than what happens. By using your imagination, you get through all this. Anyway, maybe somebody could enlighten, say a few words about that.
Earlier, while you read that it's thinking from the end or seeing it from the end. That is,
yes.
Yeah, so.
That you already are that.
Yeah. And then you work it so that it becomes so. I mean, it takes a little activity and doing this. It just doesn't happen. A miracle. You have to do something with it. And it takes patience and it takes time, but it's already there. And if you see that, it makes things a little bit more,
And then comes the personal fear. It says, oh no, I can't, I'm not that. Face yourself.
Right. Yeah, it's the digging, facing ourselves. Not only that, but just getting through ourselves in a way that makes sense, because it's a tricky operation. It's like surgery in a way, and on a subtle level. It's we have all these hidden things within us that we don't see. So it's just the guidance is absolutely necessary. I mean, absolutely necessary.
Absolutely.
There's no way a person can get through this without the guidance, because it's everything. The reality of life is unknown and unseen. So how is your imagination going to come upon this? Anything you can consider, any ideas, anybody tells you, any spiritual path, they don't come close to this. So you absolutely need guidance from somebody who's been through it. And so people may ask, what's in it for me, or what's the benefit? Well, as the real guides see them, and as we share this and contribute something that we can, it's that awareness that is the benefit. When somebody else becomes more aware, we become more aware, and that's how I see the guides too. It's like they're presenting this to us, and as we become more aware, they become more aware, and that's the benefit. I mean, awareness is everything; it supersedes everything. So that's the treasure here. Contributing something, and for somebody else to wake up, and when they wake up, the whole of life wakes up, including you into a bigger position, a greater expansive position. And it's just the way it operates is so cool. It's nothing like we've been taught. And that's why you absolutely need a guide, because this stuff it's unknown to the personal self, and it's invisible, and it doesn't exist for the personal self. So how can you figure it out yourself? And I'm not saying that you use everything you've got, your creativity, your whatever, your imagination, your intuitiveness, but that's your part. But the guides, in a sense, open up these doors for you and give you the opportunity to step in. And like Lila says, you got to get rid of the fear, take the risk, and everything is okay. And everything is okay. It's just a matter of seeing it that way too. So it's always, and I hear Dwayne saying this all the time too, that it's very, very interesting the way it works. It's nothing like we've been taught. The way the isness works and operates, and the procedure of waking up, it's so unique and different. It's a treasure, and he's constantly amazed too about how it works. It's just amazing how life opens up new, say, realities to you. The awareness, how it comes in, it's just incredible how it works. So we're lucky to be here. Yeah.
Yes. The personal self, the conscience, which we have created along with the subconscious and the center, can cause all sorts of situations, as they are at the mercy of all the dreams and fantasies the unaware individual creates for himself. Today, there are more people who are looking to the professionals of psychology and sociology to remedy what most people are going through. These institutions of mental conditioning and observance always find the defects and give them as cause. An example can be the temper and frustration in some which is aroused more easily than others. It's often something and may not even have anything to do with the present situation, but the ease in which a person can go to their immature emotions has already been established within them. So They may use the same reaction to many of their daily experiences. Thus, a person becomes labeled in a certain way, and for the most part continues on until death, and so it becomes another dead life for them to stay unaware of who they really are. For the most part, society will follow itself to the grave and simply go along with where they are directed to do by others who are also lost with their lives. For the most part, all those who are looked to with authoritative positions are just as lost as those who look to themselves, if not more so. Until a person understands their multidimensionness, they are always the effect of what they have agreed to from this dimension of personal place in life. Temper, which is anger and hostility, along with a few other attributes, becomes the unpredictable taskmaster as one becomes a slave to the desire of their temper to get what they want and to get their way. This is the individual out of control, while at the same time they think they can have the control they want by demanding it with their emotions. Young children and teenagers, and some into their adulthood, continue to use their emotions to try and control the situations that show up in their life. Parents become the most burdened by all they have given and done for their child, which is basically conditioning and condition them into giving their children what they want. In our modern society, so many are overdone with the gifts their parents have provided, and yet the offspring still has their hand out. But ask them to take out the trash, and it becomes like trying to pass a bill in Congress. Good luck. In the so-called third world countries, the more primitive people raise their children to take part in the family's more natural style and be productive and creative of the survival of all. They teach their children to be independent and to do for themselves, as opposed to the American way of life, where people mainly raise their children to become dependent upon them, which soon creates a range of situations for all concerned. It amazes me when a person can make it through all one has to go through to finally be their own person in this society. The use of the emotions in a negative fashion becomes a stumbling block and never an asset. And to the user, it would seem as though people really pay attention when someone is screaming about something. But soon others will just walk away from the individual. Things such as anger, lust, attachment, obsessiveness, greed, laziness, procrastination, smoking, discordant music, drinking, and drugs, as an example, are the decadence of the dark forces, which are ruled by the Kalom, God, and his mistress, the influence, and keep people in the same old routines of birth and death. The earth is a big melting pot for all sorts of strange ingredients, which continue to come out in a particular way and seem to fascinate the onlooking public. The new trends, which constantly appear, affect a lot of people who want to belong to something instead of discovering their own special uniqueness. which soon becomes the downfall of society, as they have in the past and history has proven.